Hey everybody, Dr. Nick here on Feel Good Friday. Today I'm going to show you the warm-up that I use before I train legs. Now I'm a physical therapist, so you may be thinking I'm going to have you do some long 20-minute to 30-minute warm-up that includes flailing around on the ground on a foam roller, dynamic stretching, muscle releasing. It's not the case at all. The purpose of my warm-up is to be as quick as possible and to get my mind and my body ready to perform. Now what you're going to see in the video is what I do in my house before I leave for the gym. Once I get to the gym, I usually warm up on the Stairmaster for about 5 to 6 minutes just to elevate my body temperature. Also, the Stairmaster acts as a good glute activation exercise, so with every step that I'm taking, I'm activating my glutes, and therefore decreasing tone in my hip flexors, which tend to be tight on me. After that 5 to 6 minutes on the Stairmaster, I do some body weight squats. And really the body weight squats are to get my mind connected to my legs. I really want to focus on that mind-muscle connection before there's any weight on my back. Then I'll add the bar to get the feel of the bar on my back as I'm doing my squats. And then I'll slowly add some weight. After I feel warm and ready to go, then I start my workout. And this warm-up is specific to me, and everyone's warm-up could be different. So the best way to figure out how you should warm up is to get evaluated by either a physical therapist or someone qualified to see where your limitations may be. And that'll help you focus on them and really get you primed to start your workout. But keep it short, keep it sweet, keep it effective. I hope this helps. Let's check it out. Okay, so here we go. This video is going to be sped up a little bit just for time's sake, so I'm going to keep reminding you that with some captions throughout the video. So these exercises and warm-ups are actually going to be a bit slower and more controlled than they appear in this video. So I'd like to start with some thoracic mobility. So put the foam roller on my thoracic spine, which is your mid-back, and you just kind of extend back over it, take some deep breaths, and move up and down segment by segment of your back. The main thing here is you don't want your lower back to arch. You want to keep your lower back and your pelvis in a neutral position and just kind of extend back from the mid-back. Then I'll go into some foam rolling of the lats. Now the lats play a big role in the hips and pelvis and lower back. I'll link a video to that in the description box. Then I'll work on some trigger points of my external rotators. So what I'm doing here is I'm pressing on the back of my shoulder into the foam roller and just giving a very, very gentle press downward so my shoulder rotates into internal rotation. And I'm trying to roll back and forth and find some tender spots in the back of my shoulder. That's it's a rough position for your shoulder, so if that irritates you, avoid that position, but it feels pretty good for me, and I haven't had any pain while doing it. You can see again, just when you bring that arm down into internal rotation, make sure that you're just pressing a real little bit, and not cranking into that internal rotation. So there I am finding a tender point, and then kind of sitting on it for a little bit, and just gently stretching into internal rotation. So this is one of my favorite stretches. So it really works on thoracic rotation and also helps stretch out the muscles of your back that kind of surround your shoulder and your shoulder blade, especially your rhomboids and external rotators of your shoulder. So the main thing here is you want to keep your butt sitting down on your heels. You don't want your butt to stick up in the air. And we do that so you lock in your lumbar spine so that most of this rotation comes from your thoracic spine or your mid-back. Then I'll go into another one of my favorite stretches here. You can do this off of a couch, off of a bench, off of anything with a little elevation. I'm doing it just with a foam roller here, What I'm doing is I'm getting a good lat stretch and also some extension through my thoracic spine. The important thing with that one is you don't want your lower back to arch. You want all that extension to come from your mid-back. Moving on to one of my favorite exercises for hip mobility and to improve range of motion at the bottom of a squat. I call these frog sit-backs. They've been called the Magic Mike. Thank you, Pete Isip. So this, we are kind of spreading your knees, spreading your legs on the floor, and then you're kind of sitting back into a squat. But if you watch my pelvis, you see it kind of rounds at the top and then goes back down to a little bit more of a neutral and extended position at the bottom. And so you'll see this from the front now, what this looks like. So legs spread, and then remember when you're sitting back, you're kind of gently rocking that pelvis from a posterior pelvic tilt into an anterior pelvic tilt, but just very slightly. Now this is also one of my favorite exercises for hip mobility. So what it's good at is it's dissociating hip flexion on one side and hip extension on the other side. So a lot of times we lose the ability to do that, to bend one hip up as we extend the other hip back. And as I'm extending that leg back, I'm squeezing that glute, so the right glute in this shot here, and then the left glute here. So I'm squeezing that glute and allowing my hips to sink down to the floor without letting my back arch. So keeping a nice neutral spine and kind of sinking down into that stretch. And through reciprocal inhibition, like I mentioned in the beginning, I am allowing my hip flexor to relax and get a good stretch. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.